Hey everyone, welcome back to episode number 5, or part number 2 of our Wilderness SMP build. Thank you very much. If anyone has been watching the live streams over the past week, I very much appreciate it. I think it's been about a week and one stream that we started doing the bottom section, getting the builds in. So if you have watched the previous part and you haven't watched it, want to go back and probably watch that now. That was me talking about the whole bridge section underneath with the sort of arches and the tunnel system below, which is not quite finished yet, but we'll get there eventually. But we're here today, started the buildings on the lower section. I was hoping to get all of the lower buildings in for this video, but I just think it'll be a little bit too long. So I've actually got quite a bit done, and I'm going to walk you through the process now in the next sort of like 5 minutes. It won't take us long to go through this. So we're using obviously the new time-lapse mob. We're using flashback today to do this. That's how we're doing the recordings. I did actually output them in 4K resolution, but I'm only going to put this video in 1080. I could probably up the resolution, but I don't want it to be sort of impact like time to sort of put it out. Could this take a bit longer? We'll maybe play with that. Anyways, so talking about the build, this is the first building that we're putting up in the corner. It is inspiration from our starter base that we did do, one of the corner sections, just very much made bigger. This was the only one that I practiced as well going into this. So of all the builds that you're about to see, this is the only one we practiced, and I did it on purpose. I wouldn't normally practice, but I needed to work on scale to make sure that perspective wise it looked okay, and from proportion wise it looked okay as well. So this was the one we practiced. So we went with a sort of similar block palette, but quite different to below, so there is a bit of separation. So this time is andesite and diorite is the sort of the main two colours. We also went for a little bit of tough mossy cobblestone thrown into there as well. You'll see a lot of acacia work on some of these builds too, with the outside edge, and then some birch flooring and things like that too. As the builds go, this is now where it got difficult and the time lapse took longer, because these I'm building completely off the fly, no practice, not really an idea of what I'm doing. Now in the last video I didn't actually put the inspiration picture on, but I'll do it this time. Here's the inspiration picture that we're kind of working from. An incredible voxel artist, as I said before, and we're kind of working with the color palette and the layout and trying to, we can't build it one for one the same. It's just impossible. Well, it's not impossible, but it's just too time consuming. But I want to try and make my representation of how I feel that build is. So these are two different buildings here on the lower ground section that we're working with. Again, sim palette, andesite, diorite, calcite. There's bone blocks, quartz, the pale oak stripped, and mushroom stem. And that's kind of the predominant block palette. The pale wood is mainly used for the detailing. But you'll see throughout the build, we're using acacia. I was going to use copper, but copper is just a little bit too expensive to build and get in survival Minecraft. So in survival Minecraft, there's an economy system on this Wilderness SMP server, and I can buy wood. So that's where I'm getting a lot of the wood from, and the acacia. So Mr. Cupcake, shout out to you, dude. You're going to be a little rich person on the server when I'm done with you. So but there is sort of copper variants, and sometimes when you zoom in here you'll see a little bit of the copper variants in the windows and the walls with the copper grates and the copper trapdoors. We have some of those integration in here too. And the one thing you probably won't notice is the subtlety in the lighting. I've actually used, thanks to Valder on the server, gave me some glow lichen. So you won't see a lot of torches around. There's glow lichen in areas that make it very subtle that you wouldn't actually notice that I've put glow lichen in. And I've also used a lot of frog lights behind trapdoors, so again, not making it too glaringly obvious. So as this build goes on, I really don't want there to be any like lighting out, like torches or lanterns. I'm hoping to try and make it into the build itself, so it's more natural ambient light that kind of goes around the build and make it spawn proof as well. That's my biggest challenge, making it spawn proof. So this is build number 3. I did this one off stream actually. I didn't actually do this one on stream. I did it at the weekend, just past there. I think weekend of the 30th or whenever it was. And this one was did off stream, but I just wanted to get some building done, and it took me a day, but not a full day. It was like a sporadic half an hour here and there. You might see a stray Luna Cupcake in a second. She flew over to come say hello as I was building this roof section, just flat roofs. The roofs though are slabs, stone, andesite and polished andesite, and that's going to be again a common roof color that you see across the rest of the build, and you'll see them quite a bit on other builds in the future too. There are going to be organics. You might see her just off to the left there in camera. I did sort of dig out a little bit for some organics. So that's something that we'll do later, not really something I want to do right now. That's the 3 builds on to the right hand side done. There's a big building in the corner, which is our square building. And this was the most recent build we did on the 31st of March. So here's a little timeline for you when we're building this. 31st of March 2025. And this was the lower section of the build that we did. Slightly different block palette to the others. I kept with the bridge for this one a little bit more. So it was the bone blocks in there, the mushroom stem, the quartz and the pale oak wood for the main details. And then we sort of put those little windows and stuff on it and used the copper grates. This was the last build here that I didn't top that I'm going to add in the video today before I give you a little bit of a tour. I'll hand you over to the other tree, well me, but in the game, and I'll just kind of walk you through the build and walk you through it from a perspective of walking in it. That's the last build that we did up on the top on the 31st and the last build for now. But I'll just leave you with a little bit of a close fly-in from a distance now, kind of showing you the build as we kind of fly towards it. And I'll hand you over to the tree and I'll just give you a little bit of a walking tour from ground level, what it looks like, what the next steps are, and just talk about the final section. Hey, there you go. That's it there, all the way from the other side of the build. Well, across the water anyway. You can see from the village, and then there's our little drone. All the way up to the mountains. It's looking pretty good. So we'll fly over. I do have a weird particle effect today. Something to do with the April Fool's update, maybe? I'm not too sure. It's freaking me out. Here it is in all its glory. So yeah, we'll start probably from this top side. So the one thing to note, a lot of people are going to ask me about this, and people sometimes do, is about interiors and stuff. But this is the sort of the scale of the build that we went for. And for the moment, they are just outside facades. It is just the fronts of the buildings. I'm not too fussed about doing the interiors as of yet, nor the rest of the build just at the moment. They will all have interiors. They will all be finished. I think what I'd like to do for the purposes of sort of the video is to try and get the infrastructure and the architecture right. We'll get all the buildings down this lower section. So these were the first 3 that you've seen on the video. Well, apart from the one in the corner, we'll come to that. These are the first 3 to the right hand side. I'm really enjoying like the detail and the depth to a lot of these as well. I'm trying to create it so it's really interesting and perspective wise to sort of have a look at and see and enjoy. So yeah, there's the subtle lighting that I spoke about, kind of hidden behind the trapdoors, and then the glow licking too, sporadically along the path, just in little areas, just kind of blending in between one to the other. Here, about there. Just so you don't quite see it. It will head down to the next build. Again, same thing, not really in just yet, but we will certainly get to it over time. Well, hopefully we will. This was one of my favorite ones to make here, this one. I really enjoyed this one actually, from the sort of the details and the depth and even the roof that I put on it as well. I'm actually quite impressed with how it came out in the end with the sort of first big wall, making it look like an actual build. So I quite like this one. Organics are going to go in. There will be natural trees here, sort of arching over, sort of big sort of willow sort of looking trees. Not quite sure on colours and tones and stuff like that yet, but there will be trees kind of filling up through that gap in the middle. This one here, I did think about making this a trading hall actually, just because of the scale and the size of it. I actually quite liked it, so we might feed into this with a bit of a market area, a little staircase going up to the top, and then use that. And then the last little bit that I'll showcase kind of from the lower ground. Although I do like the path. I don't know if I really mentioned it on the videos, but the path I really enjoy. We've got the sort of the normal colours to the outsides, and then the sort of worn part where people would have obviously walked on it. You see Luna's base from here. But yeah, there's the last one that we did on the video, which was, it would have been last night. I would have done that on stream. So yeah, this was the last one that we did today on the video. Not quite finished just yet. We're going to wait for to do that on stream and we'll finish it. So you guys can kind of watch the live streams on TikTok, YouTube or Twitch. All the links and stuff are down below in the YouTube video. You can certainly go click one of them and check it out. But again, all the little subtleties and the colours and the details, they're all taking a bit of time. It is kind of done by hand on the fly, no real practice, as I said. So it's a little bit difficult, but it is all coming together. So what I'll probably do is I'll leave the video there for today. I want to keep them short, sharp updates so you guys are kind of kept in the loop, the people that obviously watch on YouTube and have been supporting us and got to 1,000 subscribers. All for you guys. Thank you so much for the support and subscribing, commenting, liking. This build and a lot of the others will be on Patreon very, very soon. So the next part of this video will likely be this left-hand side. I don't know how many builds are going to go here, but it's going to be quite a chunky section. So we'll get those done in this episode. In the next episode, after this one. So there's quite a bit to do, quite a lot to build and practice and put onto the world. I forgot that I've got Bobby mod on, so I can see things massively in the distance. I think that's why I can see Luna's base over there. We actually have been for a little bit of a tour on this server as well, so thank you very much to those people from the server who have been inviting us around and checking out all their builds and bases. There's been some spectacular ones. So just from the map perspective, you can see there's everything we've built so far, kind of around here. But as you zoom out, you can see down here, there's Luna's base I was just talking about. Really cool. I'll maybe do a little video touring the whole server once I get some time. And there's even down here an immense sort of build that's going on for like Hogwarts, and there's like big dragons, sort of Asian inspired areas, sort of hotel inspiration. I think Mankey just said he had finished his dragon, and there's these massive dragons going on up here. And I think there's another dragon over here somewhere, like a big massive sort of like there's one. You can't quite see it, but there's like a snow dragon on top of that mountain as well. So there's really a lot going on the server. But as of now, I'll leave you there. Thank you very much for watching today's episode, guys. I will hopefully see you all soon in a live stream and continuation of this project, and we'll move on to part 3. For now, my name has been Tree, and thank you very much for watching this episode with us today. Cool. Thank you very much. Bye.